happening right now in education with all of that mechanics and everything. But what's going to make us stand out as educators is our humanity, being able to connect, giving them that autonomy, giving them that ability, that mindset, that growth mindset, praising their efforts.
Yeah.
Saying like, I value you even if you don't get this score, the best score on this test or whatever. And then giving them that, the last thing, like that purpose, that reason they're there, like goal setting. Let's look at the big picture, dream big. And I thought this was silly for like younger kids, but we did it as a class. And looking at the big picture, what do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself as an adult? What do you see yourself doing? Total, freedom on that. Like, let's see, and finding the pictures and making a poster and looking at that every day. And then looking at like, where do you want to be by the end of this year? And really going off of like, hey, these are dreams. Let's see what steps we need to do to get to that point, and letting them really own that and see their purpose of why they're coming to school and doing this work. Why are they doing this work every single day?
Yeah, this is why the world needs to hear from educators like yourself who are doing it differently. When asked the question, what was your big aha moment, and you talked about, walking alongside of the student, helping them goal set, and to the point where, the training wheels came off and you said, hey, Hannah, I don't need any more help. And then you talked about like your own biological son who just started taking initiative, right? So teaching to change lives is those small soft skills that aren't necessarily in curriculum. It's initiative. It's self-starter, it's self-motivation, it's discipline, it's consistency, like you said. And then your son, diving into it, and then he telling you dope, and then hearing you say dope, right? You instantly became cool in my book. You just said dope, Hannah. Like Hannah from Arizona just said dope. Hashtag new BFF. And then you talked about the growth mindset of nurturing that growth mindset in them, and the connection piece. And then what's going to separate educators nowadays is the humanity piece. It's the empathy piece. It's the understanding piece. It's the connection piece, like you said. And I think very much in agreement that we need more educators like you. One, I was just talking to a parent not too long ago today, and I was talking about the school, my micro school. And like I talked about the good things, and she was like, oh, this sounds amazing. I was like, let me be transparent with you too. The kids cry here. All of my kids have cried at one point in time. Sometimes they cry for a week straight because it is so uncomfortable. Growth is so uncomfortable. Pain is the currency of growth, and they go through a lot of pain. But on the other side of that pain is fulfillment. And you talked about it, you left it with purpose. Why are they here every day and making their education their own versus the education for us as educators? Because you and I finished school, but they're still in school, and it's our job to guide them like you do. I'm curious, like when you think of empowerment, like what is empowerment to you? And I know we talked about it in our last meeting. What is empowerment to Hannah Richardson?
It's such a great word and used a lot today, but the importance of it is so vital. Just looking at, you have a successful academic experience, and there is this idea that a successful academic experience is getting good grades. Yeah. And I loved how vulnerable you are. Like, yeah, there's crying and there's difficulties in there in that experience as well. But like getting those good grades and coming to school every day, being ready to learn and everything like that. But in reality, it's like we got to go through the muck, and there's going to be years where we experience trauma, even if you haven't come through a foster system or just coming out of the year 2020. Like, there's going to be so many kids that have are in this emotional fight or flight brain, and being able to move and empower them, to me, just means they feel capable, even if they struggle. And they're okay to struggle in an area of academics and realize that they'll eventually get it. The kid next to them might be getting it a little faster, and they might be a little bit more able to accomplish tasks. But being able to empower a kid says, you have time and you'll eventually get it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know this answer today, you'll know it eventually. And sometimes that kind of takes educators back, like, wait, we've got to be able to make sure these kids are progressing at this pace. Yeah. We have to, like, it's scary, it's messy. With my experience, I feel like when they feel empowered, even the kids that are way ahead, if they feel like they can still make mistakes and they feel like they can still take risks, then it doesn't matter what grade they get. Like, they feel like that the grade is such, like my mentor told me, a grade is such a fixed mindset, a statement of a fixed mindset. Like, I am an A student, or I'm a B student, I'm a C student. It's just a fixed mindset. Why don't we teach these kids that let's master the subject, and however long it takes to get to that mastery, and let's see, like, how can we ignite that fire so that that mastery is an accomplishment that you feel good about, they have that dopamine, and that you want to do it again. You want to come back and you want to learn. You're hungry, you're curious, your brain is open to problem solving. You feel like I'm struggling with this subject and it's hard, but I feel like my facilitator or my mentor or my guide is there and they believe in me, and I might be doing it a little slower than everybody else, but I'm empowered to keep going through it all, and I'm capable, I'm powerful. No matter what I've been through in my circumstances, I'm not broken, and everybody has something to bring to the table. And if we can be able to really show that to kids and make sure, like, it sounds all like rosy colored glasses, but really, like, I've been able to see it. And there's improvements to be made, there's innovation to be made in education, and that's why I'm so excited. Like, I feel like we are on the cusp of such great movement in education and such great opportunity and more choice. And that's why I started a micro school. Like, I feel like there's going to be different modalities to educate, and if we get we have so much more knowledge in what kids are capable of, and the neuroplasticity and, like, all of that good stuff. Like, if they have that mindset that they are capable, that's empowerment to me.
That was a long way of defining it, but I love the elaborative way. I love the fact that you're elaborating. So I must say that what I extracted from, right, because Tony Robbins is my mentor. He doesn't know me yet. He's going to hear about me eventually. So very similar to him, like, my goal is to extract the meat and potatoes, the good stuff of the greatness that you shared today. So when you talked about empowerment, you talked about capabilities and you talked about capacities. You've also talked about autonomy. So it's the space to fail and the space to succeed. And then you also talked about power, right? Having that power to act. So the ability and the encouragement to make decisions. And then you also talked about mentors believing in the child. So it's the belief that they can do it. So it's so empowerment, from what you've defined, Hannah, is us teachers, educators, creating the space and the culture that they can build the capacity. You talked about having, showing them their capabilities, so living in the possibilities. You talked about having a belief in them, so that's just in a cheerleader, an encourager. And then you also talked about the power. So teaching them the decisions that they can make that will lead them to their desired outcome. Am I right, or am I completely off of what you were trying to say?
That was amazing. Well done. Like, take all of this that I said and just put some bullet points to it. Thank you.
My brain works in bullet points. I was like, okay, how can I, because the goal, right, you as the interviewee, and my job as a host is to extract the nuggets for our listeners. And I want to make sure that your points gets emphasized, and it becomes memorable, it becomes repeatable, and it becomes relatable. So to repeat it, to remember it, and to relate to it, I think is how we learn best. And the repetition. So there's the 4 R's. So repetition, so saying it constantly over and over again. And like you echoed previously, creating a space where students are mastering their education, mastery versus just going through the motions of it. So I just wanted to make sure I am honoring you in that piece. And I have a question for you though, and I don't want you to answer it right now. I'm gonna give a plug to Shepherd Revolution Leadership Academy. The question I have for you is, what makes Hannah unique? And before you answer that, I am going to give Shepherd Revolution Leadership Academy a plug. So be thinking about it. Be thinking about it. Oh yeah. So Shepherd Revolution, this entire podcast, Teaching to Change Lives and Shepherd Revolution Leadership Academy, the podcast is for the intent to create a school, a private school. we're in the process of opening a private K-8 learning academy dedicated to leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurship. We do this through exploration, student empowerment, and experiential learning. And our approach is a holistic educational model that supports both the learners and the parents. Our vision, right? The vision of this school, Shepherd Revolution Leadership Academy, is to nurture healthier families and communities by doing education differently. And our mission is to educate, equip, and empower K-8 learners to think deeply, act courageously, live intentionally, transform their lives and the lives of those around them. And we're built on these pillars right here: biblical principles and dedication to service, boldness and humility, curiosity and conviction, diversity and inclusion, and tradition and innovation. So we're looking for those who are willing, who are aligned with the vision, with the mission, to come alongside of us. We're a nonprofit, and we need all hands on deck. So if you have any giftings, any aspirations to come alongside and create some schools with us, it's going to be dope. This is going to be the greatest school of all time. And I'm just going to put it out there. We are going to be the Amazon of education. We're going to be the Facebook of innovation, and we're going to be the Apple of technology. And the things that we have in our repertoire is going to teach others to educate differently. And more importantly, we're going to change the world. So that is the plug for Shepherd Revolution Leadership Academy. If you're interested, holla at your boy. I'm on all social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever there's social media, I'm there. Clubhouse. So Hannah, back to you. What is one thing that's unique about you that most people don't know? After I said all of that.
They might know this, those who know me, but I'm okay with being different.
What does different mean?
Sometimes going a completely different path than everybody else doesn't look so popular. And maybe it was the way I was raised. Maybe it's just who I have become, but I really like to take the road less traveled. I really like to be the different, and it's scary and challenging, but
Yeah, people like you are the one who changed the world, right? If